That mural was my first professional mural, and there was some experimentation and learning involved with making it. And I love the process, and I just couldn't wait to do another one. And it wasn't a few days later that I was tagged in a post on Facebook about a three-part mural going at a real estate brokerage that was newly being constructed. And it just happened to be exactly what I do with landscapes, one landscape and two wildlife murals. And the total feet involved was 45 feet wide and 8 feet tall. So very large project that I got to do just immediately after the first one. And I was so excited to get that started. Now, at this point in the mural process, you know, this was a big project, a big step up, and I really had to bring my professional A game, and just knock this out of the park to the best of my ability. And we were going to be making a lot of reels, so we started filming in portrait mode, which was a big mistake because this video contains some of the portrait mode shots that we had taken, but I had to blow them up to fit the landscape orientation of a YouTube video, which is not ideal. So the big challenge for me in doing these murals, and I knew it was going to be because I am absolutely terrified of heights, and these murals, they started off at about 10 feet high. I don't remember exactly, but I think it's about, like, it's starting off at 10 feet, and the highest point is about 18 feet. And that's not a big deal for people that are comfortable with heights, and they probably can't even understand why that would bother someone. But if you're terrified of heights, any amount above, 4 or 5 feet is I'm not going to say equally as terrifying, but the fear starts at about 6 feet and beyond. And the thing is I wasn't going to let fear hold me back. And ironically, on the lioness mural, the word courage is the top word on the mural, which means it's the highest. And the first thing we had to do in the process was paint the lettering and then mask off the lettering so that I could paint the entire mural without having to worry with, painting around the letters. And in doing the wall prep, I had a pole and a roller, so I was on the scissor lift early on, but I wasn't very high. It wasn't that big of a deal. But the first time I had to go up in the lift up to the word courage, I was terrified. Like it was like I was dying inside. And I had to dig deep and find it in me, to get over it. And I found some tips for getting over fear of heights for anyone out there that might find that useful. But what I found useful is to go up to the place you need to be and then just, hang out a few minutes or seconds and then come back down and then do it again. And each time you go up, stay a little longer. I ended up spending hours in the air every day that I was painting. And the fear returns every single time, like clockwork. It never skips a beat. But the thing about it is you can only be afraid for so long. I mean, if you're up on a lift for an hour at a time, 2 hours at a time, up high, I mean, first 5 minutes is pretty intense, but after that, it gets a lot easier because how long can you stay in a high intensity state of fear before it just fatigues out? And you get used to it, you get comfortable with it, and that's what happened for me. And after that, I was off to the races. Now, the scissor lift is very secure on indoor level, stable, ground. It may not be as safe outside with the wind blowing or, going over, unlevel ground or, over rocks and dirt, grass. I don't know if I would trust that scissor lift in that environment, but indoors it's really safe if you use it properly. But the scissor lift sways. It's like you're up there on a spring, and you can just rock it back and forth as depending on how much you're moving, it will determine how much sway you're experiencing. And that's for someone that's afraid of heights. That's disorienting, and it can make you feel off balance, dizzy, even nauseous if you don't like motion sickness and the heights all combined into one. So initially I was very careful not to rock the lift at all, but towards the end I was just moving around and got way more comfortable. And the experience for me overall was, an opportunity to grow, to level up, to evolve as a human being, and to scale up my artwork. And I did that. And the thing is I couldn't have done this mural without my wife, Sarah. She helped me every bit of the way. And, these murals were my creative direction, my vision, my design. But without Sarah, I wouldn't have been able to get through it because she wasn't afraid of heights. And she led by example of just, going up there in the first initial phases. And then in the corners, for some reason, the corners is just all blocked in. It gave me some disorientation. So she helped me with the corners of the design. And, that's where we really established this teamwork mentality, because mural projects are so big. It's not uncommon for more than one person to work on one, even though, one person may be directing it and doing all the, the key focal points are going to be painted by the main artist. Other artists often help with, bits and pieces of the mural here and there, and that's a common practice. But my wife and I had never, we've worked together, in the same studio for many years, but we've never exactly worked on a creative project like this together where we had to rely on each other and become a team. And that was really amazing. And it ties into the next mural because, all of the murals thus far were, my creative direction and my artwork. But this next one we got was Sarah's, and it was an abstract mural on the outside, on the exterior of a apartment building with 4 units. And it was a converted building. It used to be an old lodge, and they converted it over into the apartments and remodeled the inside.